Simon Tay, he's author of Asia Alone, the dangerous post-crisis divide from Americans, and he joins me now right here in our Hong Kong studio. Simon, thank you very much indeed for joining us. First up, is it America not engaging properly here, or do you think there's miscommunication on either side?
I think the world and Asia really needs America to engage, and Americans need to engage Asia. But it's a question of the spirit is willing, but the body is weak. I mean, look, you mentioned the Indonesia trip. He had so-called 3 great reasons not to come, but the American saying is 3 strikes and you're out. And I think that's the kind of mood we're having in Asia right now.
But, you know, is he engaged? I mean, look at the ASEAN envoy. He's not replaced the ASEAN envoy. He didn't even send anybody to the last meeting. I mean, that's a snub, if anything.
Well, I think on the economic side, this is the vital relationship, but it's so difficult right now for America. I mean, leave alone the ambassador. Right now, the jobless figures in America, the sense that a lot of jobs have sort of been exported to Asia, it's hard for them to sign more FTAs and really engage economically with ASEAN or the wider Asia.
Is it a case of domestic politics and foreign policy here? He can't be seen also to be pandering to Asia at the moment by his local electorate.
Very much so. I think that with Asia's rise and America's, well, America's still ahead of everybody in Asia, but relative decline. There is this sense of a shifting balance. And Americans, some of them might want to reassert in a very aggressive way. And that's not the right thing to do either. So what we've seen recently over the Spratly Islands and other things, I saw America thumping the table, warning China. That kind of engagement too may not be the best kind.
Right. Well, you know, again, what about Asian leadership? Is there Asian leadership? That's the problem, isn't it? Surely.
It is. And that's why Asia can't be alone right now. I think that, of course, economically, we have to be more self-contained. We have to grow on our own. But politically, there are tensions and question marks. India, China, they pretend to be friends. They are increased their relationship. But there are still tensions over many issues, including strategic issues. China's dominance. I think this is something that we all appreciate. China's been peaceful so far, but it's a question mark over the long term. And
what's your view of that? You know, how does it evolve? I mean, in terms of China, India, is there, you know, things going on in the background which are really rather sinister?
Well, the Chinese keep playing games over, you know, whether Indians can visit them, whether people born in various provinces are Chinese citizens. It doesn't bode well. Both sides don't deeply understand each other, the historical problem, and there's kind of future ambition. I mean, India's economy, despite growing so well, some measures is about 1/3 to 1/4 the size of China. Is India prepared to be number 2 in Asia? And I don't think many people in New Delhi think so.
So really, when we look at that concept of Chindia, it's a many decade thing off.
Well, it's a competitive, cooperative relationship. Like a lot of us today in globalization, there's economic competition and cooperation at the same time.
What about Southeast Asia? Can it tie all the knots together here and perhaps bring some cohesion?
Well, I'm from Southeast Asia. Don't give us too much of a burden. I think ASEAN has done tremendously to try even hold the summitry, the meetings together. But, you know, we're only 500 million people, and economies, to combine 10 of them, are not as big as India's. So I think it's going to be always difficult to find a single leader in Asia right now, and that's why America's engagement is so important.
So what is your prescription here for Barack Obama?
We've got to think of a way to be engaged in a more multilateral way. It's the kind of things Obama promised to do, but most Americans, especially the Republican to the right, aren't ready for it. He's also got to prepare for this midterms and a lot of domestic politics, tea parties, all that kind of stuff, but still keeping a picture on the big prize, which is constant engagement, trade, economic integration with a rising Asia.
Despite the downturn, he didn't fall into the protectionist mood that was prevalent in the US. The danger is, if we have another recession, the pressure may be too much for him to bear.
The double dip, the joblessness, I think these have at least made a standstill on economic integration. And I think, you know, if you believe the idea that trade either goes forward or it starts to falter, I think we're in a questionable time right now.
Okay, so, you know, it's the post-American era that we head for, as it's been termed.
Well, it's a post-American world, but we still need a post-American leadership. And that's, America has still got to be part of the equation. It cannot expect to dominate as much as before. Asia is coming together, Asia is rising, but Asia is not ready to go ahead positively without America.
It's all about not getting that domestic growth going and to the consumption side of things lifted.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of room to grow before Asia can really say we are economically and politically more independent than we were before.
Thank you very much indeed, Simon.
Thank you very much.
Simon Tay there, he's the author of Asia Alone.